Hi there, Cancer. Welcome to your April 2025 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. This is my second channel. I'm still, in this new phase of it. I'll get my sea legs going in a short time. I think I'm just kind of all over the place. So please bear with me as I make this, well, it's not really a transition, but because I am going to still have one set of videos on the main channel. But if you're new here, welcome. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. And, it's just something that I thought of doing because I wanted to see if I could kind of break out of an old pattern. And, you have to stick with things. That's the key. And that sometimes is not the easiest thing to do if you're used to a different way of doing things. Translation, I have Taurus rising. What can I tell you? Okay, we're going to pick an additional card. Or two cards. I got some in my hands. Okay. Okay. Let me bring this card out. Okay. Usually I talk about the heart of the matter first, but I'm going to talk about the past first. This is the Two of Swords, and this is a card of someone at the horns of a decision. So, in other words, but you see that she's blindfolded. So it's not necessarily what it seems. It's not necessarily, she may be framing it like, oh, I wonder if I should do this or I should do that. But it could be a false choice. In other words, an example would be, should I stay in my marriage and you're with somebody who's cheating? Well, yeah, I guess it's literally a choice. You could stay, but the situation, if it's bad and it's something that is hurting you emotionally, it's not really anything to ponder. Of course, sometimes people have financial reasons why they're doing so, but in general that's kind of like a different aspect of it. But anyway, I think with some of these cards, it might be even like your job, or if you're dissatisfied with the type of work that you're doing, because the heart of the matter is the Five of Pentacles, and this is a card of lack consciousness. Sometimes this can be a card of unemployment, but I don't know if that is true for some people. If they have a choice to make, it sounds more like they are thinking of leaving, but they may be afraid because of the aspect of money affecting things. And I think Cancer is one of those signs that is especially affected by the prospect of not having enough money. And because of this, it can mean that you are perhaps overly cautious and willing to tolerate something simply because you want to have that steady paycheck. So only you know whether or not that's too high a price to pay. Because certainly, depending on how it affects you, and you being a water sign, that might be very true that it affects you deeply, and it makes it hard to be present for the people in your life sometimes because there's so much stress. Only you know what the toll is how it is taken, toll it's taken on you. Now, the higher message is the Ace of Pentacles, but it was reversed. When you translate the Ace of Pentacles, it's like a new job, or, aces are a new beginning, something new, a windfall of money that comes into your life for some reason. And so it's quite the contrast from the Five of Pentacles, but it's in the reversed position. So it's almost saying to me, like, you never will know what is possible for you if you close your mind to it. If you're so in that survival mode. And truth be told, some people have no reason to be. They do have it more than enough, but they simply are operating maybe from an old paradigm, old experiences, and it makes them, still react in the same fear-based way. What crosses you is the Star card. This is the faith in unseen forces. This is one of the things that, exactly what I'm talking about here. This card is connected to Aquarius, by the way. And what it means is that when you're in the process of manifestation, it always begins with the immaterial. So people are assuming that whatever it is that they are trying to call in, as they call it, that they have to see some evidence of it before they can really kind of like anchor the belief that this is going to happen for them. And the late Wayne Dyer had a book called You'll See It When You Believe It, whereas the saying is usually you'll believe it. No, is it? I was like, okay, which one was it? I'll believe it when I see it. But it's actually you'll see it when you believe it. And basically it means that the belief, which is immaterial, comes before the physical proof of it. And this is also connected to the idea of that you come up with. So anything that you are dreaming of that seems like, maybe it even seems a little bit outlandish. If you really believe in yourself, I know that sounds cheesy, you can make it happen. And maybe it's not instantaneously, maybe it does take time to develop, but it could, let's put it this way, it could happen. And if you don't do anything, yeah, it won't happen, that's for sure. But if you are really guided to do something, why not nurture it like a young plant, and believe in yourself, and also believe in life itself, that it's able to show itself up in the physical that way. What's coming in is the King of Cups. This can be a spiritual teacher. This can be a person, a fellow water sign. I do believe this is connected to Pisces in particular. I don't know if I see, oh yeah, the fish are, there's like a fish down there. Usually the fish is flying out of the cup. Now this could be like a counselor, a pastor, a guru, some kind of a spiritual teacher. This person may be somebody you consult to kind of connect with what the star represents. It could be like if you are, for instance, trying to make a decision, it's right below that Two of Swords. So like if you are wanting to get divorced, but you're afraid of, not having as much money, or maybe you're afraid of being alone for the rest of your life, you might consult somebody that, can help you with your fears. But it can just be like somebody that you always, like a father figure. Kings can be fathers, or the love of your own father that kind of transcends, like if a woman is upset about her marriage, maybe she had a wonderful relationship with her father, and she can transfer that to her father, in terms of feeling that love and not feeling like she's been abandoned, that kind of thing. But on the other hand, It might be like going into therapy because you have experienced some sort of rejection, or maybe even like if it is related to work, you're fretting about that and you really feel like there's this shaky ground under you. Actually, when I was thinking about it, Pluto is now in your 8th house, and Pluto is that one of the rulers of the 8th house. And I think I remember an astrologer saying something like, when Pluto's in your 8th house, sometimes people go into psychotherapy because Pluto is connected to, the shadow is connected to the 8th house, and Pluto is kind of the excavator of these things. And so that's a big way that people do that. And, sometimes it's because maybe there's a lot of things happening. Now, you're going to have Jupiter in your sign starting in June. So you might find that, when Jupiter goes into your sign, that you're going to feel more optimistic. Because, again, you are a water sign, and your emotions tend to kind of ebb and flow. And sometimes they might be on the more pessimistic side. And so you don't want to feel discouraged. As a matter of fact, the outcome card, and I don't end on certain cards because I do like to keep everything uplifting. And not that this is such a bad card. It just means that there's dissatisfaction there. And, watch out that you're, kind of like in that poverty mindset or that lack consciousness, that you're kind of closing off other forms of love, because the cups relate to water signs and they relate to love. And, this woman has her arms crossed like she's kind of blocking this love that the universe is offering to her. Maybe you have children. And even if your spouse is, let's say the worst case scenario, your spouse is cheating on you, but you have children. You could take that love, just like I was talking about with the King of Cups, you could transfer that to your children, feel the love and give the love to and with them or from them, so that you don't have to feel like you are in a sense of lack. And I often think about that. I don't have children of my own, but I think about, for instance, women who maybe their primary relationship didn't work out and they're like single mothers, let's say. And I always think to myself, that to me, that's enough. That's enough fulfillment emotionally. And sometimes women, they feel like, oh, I know, but I need this romantic relationship. Like it's not enough to have the relationship with the children. And I think I can't understand that, because I think that it could be totally fulfilling. But, sometimes there's other things going on, and that make people feel like they don't have enough. That's what I'm talking about with the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles doesn't mean that you are actually lacking something. It simply means that you think that you're lacking something. Now, I picked 2 additional cards, and one of them was the Four of Wands, but it was reversed. This is in the upright position. It's the happy home. So it's suggesting that something is not working. Something is not right. What is the price to pay for that? If you pull into your driveway and you feel like this knot in your stomach, how does that feel? The Four of Wands in the upright position, because Wands is fire energy, is very like festive and happy. So in the reverse position, it would be like, oh God, I have to go in there and I have to tolerate the situation. Isn't life too short to do that? What are you willing to pay for that feeling to go away? And the Judgment card. Now, it's very interesting, because when people hear the word judgment, they immediately start to get nervous about it. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people online say, don't judge, and stuff like that, because judgment has come to mean something very negative, like hating on someone. And judgment simply means, well, first of all, it can mean discernment. It's a form of discernment, meaning that when we make decisions, that we trust that we're making decisions from a logical and, when I say logical, I mean realistic sort of place. That we're not doing things based on wishful thinking, that we actually believe what we're saying, or that, we believe that we're doing things for the right reasons. To me, that's sound judgment. And you know what? Some people, they don't really trust their own judgment. They really don't. And part of it's because they've been, duped in the past. Another meaning for this card is cause and effect, meaning that everything that we see that is happening right now is the result of the past. It isn't really your current state of consciousness. So if you operate looking whatever's in front of you as being evidence of what it is possible for you, then you're always going to be in the past, because this is only the result of the past, and it doesn't indicate what is possible for you in the future. You create the future every moment, every waking moment. Maybe even when you're dreaming, you create it. Also, the Judgment card is about rebirth. And rebirth happens when we are open to new possibilities. When we are finally ready to put the past behind us. And, Cancer rules the past. Cancer rules, childhood and things like that. The fourth house can be about the past. So a lot of times Cancer people, they almost like prefer the past to whatever's happening. And yet, we can't live in the past. The past is dead, for lack of a better word. It's no longer relevant. And so the point is that this could be showing that new things are possible for you, because you are going to be experiencing a rebirth. You're going to, like with the Four of Cups, you're going to be tired of not feeling enthusiastic about your life. And you're going to, at some point, I can't tell you when, but you will get there. All right, Cancer, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, please check out my package deals. I do the astrology as well. And, I sometimes have deals combined with the tarot. And I have individual readings. You can find out more information at the link below. Thanks for watching. Bye.